Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, everyone. Episode 318 of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's raiding some tombs with me tonight?
Oh, it's your fun personalities, fresh from your island, Rich Kale here on YouTube. Well, Richard Sampson, Rich Kale on YouTube, and on Rich Gen X, and you can find my channel there, and also find my stuff up on various fiction sites.
Hey, Cody, swamp born of the house, Laveau professional, exotic animal wrangler, warden of the Riverlands, bender of limbs, winter soldier, gentleman adventurer, world traveler. That one is brand new. 13 countries in 2024, freshly home from Europe. Former handsomest man, breaker of hearts. That one is I'm more or less proud of. Treasure hunter, also true friend to every single animal on the planet Earth. I am the Cajun Crippler, the original Cajun Crippler, the Mississippi Miracle, the Crescent City Saint, your once and future podcast guest. What is this, number 13, I think, Mike? It is Cody Laveau, back for another tomb, back to raid another tomb.
And we are doing this trilogy completely out of order because I wanted to. We are here to talk about Tomb Raider Legend, which came out and developed by Crystal Dynamics, published by Eidos, and came out in 2006. And this is the first of the trilogy. We did Anniversary, which is the second game in this trilogy. We did that last year.
Which confused the hell out of me, also.
Well, it's a remake of the first game, but it also is part of the second game. It doesn't really matter, I don't think.
Yeah, it's
a remake of the first game set in the timeline that Legend started.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, why not?
So it's yeah. So this is the first reboot of Tomb Raider, because the last game you had before was Angel of Darkness, which did wonderful, and then they rebooted this. So I always like to start these off with our memories. I ended up playing this originally on PS2, I want to say, or Xbox, one in that gen, probably 2008 or so. And I remember I enjoyed it. I played through it, I beat it, and I thought it was a good time. And I have not played it since, but I thought about it here and there. That's my history with it. What about you, Rich?
Well, that's what I was just actually going to double check, because I was playing through this I started playing through this towards the tail end of 2023. And, up until let's see, as I check my details, I finished it in May of last year.
Oh, and that was your first time?
Yeah, it was my first time playing through it.
I'm surprised.
Well, remember that I didn't get a lot of these games until after my wife passed, and I was always, keeping an eye out to get stuff like this on sale. And I knew of the game's existence. I didn't know where it had didn't find out until later about where it fit in the timeline, especially, of course, once Anniversary was released and you look into that. But, so this was my first time playing it. And I'm sorry, got distracted by the cat.
The cat, once again, behind Mike.
Yep.
There's a cat? Oh, I didn't realize there was a cat behind me.
There was a cat. He wanted to be on the show as well. Yep, there he is right there.
Yeah. A fat cat.
Love a fat cat.
Oh, that's a fat cat. That's 20 pounds of cat.
Oh, Jesus. That is a... Oh, shit, he's coming. First of all, I'm going to... Because it's on Mike, because every podcast, I of course, have to do a little bit of drinking before I get into this. Tonight's fare is Johnny Walker Black Label, funny enough, because this is a very cultured video game. And I, as a cultured man, am a big fan of flea markets. Shocking. So I kept on the Xbox 360 long after anybody was playing that, was actually still playing that system. This was I was on the 360 even after the Series X or S or whatever came back out. I still play it. So flea markets are your best friend for those kinds of games. And I probably picked this game up in probably 2015 because I was broke. And so I would go to the flea market, find Xbox 360 games for probably $5-10 each, would take them home, have a great time. So I played this game a decade after it came out. And remember, I had a lot of fun with it. I didn't remember much of it until revisiting it again for this show, just very recently. So it's been the better part of 20 years since this game came out, right? This is 2006?
Just 2006, yeah.
Yeah, cheers. Cheers to that. This game is old enough to drink, and so am I. So
not in America.
Or black. Cheers.
I got Gatorade. I was going to buy beer before we did this recording, but then I was running out of time, and I was going to be late anyway, and I'm like, otherwise I was going to have to get Gatorade.
That is a tasty scotch. That is a good scotch, Mike.
And I thought about grabbing Fireball and just drinking shots, but I'm like, yeah, that won't go over. Eventually, it won't be going well.
Oh, no, it always goes well. What are you talking about? The scotch also makes you sound older. I mean, you can hear it in my voice. I always sound more and more dignified the more of this that I drink, Mike. But yeah, this was a flea market find about 10 years after the game came out. I played it, did not think anything about it until 8 years later until I played it for the show this past week.
Well, it's a good thing to find, I'll tell you that.
Oh, definitely. It was easily worth the $7.85 that I paid for this game a decade ago.
No, I will say this when it comes to playing this, and unless they fixed something over on GOG, this is definitely one you'll want to play if you use one of the like GOG or Steam or that. Go with the Steam version because the GOG one, it would not work for me after I had initially installed it from GOG. So I had to get the Steam version.
GOG is usually pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Dave.
This also happened with Anniversary.
It's probably just something to do with EDOS, to be honest with you.
I'm sure it must be.
Yeah.
Because I played Soul Reaver games and they do not work for shit on Steam, and that's just all EDOS. So it's probably them. This is a bit of a strange reboot to me because like I played this before. I knew kind of what this game was, and like we did Anniversary, so I already knew kind of the theme of what this Tomb Raider series goes for. But to me, it's just it's missing something because it wasn't the Tomb Raider. My favorite is still the new trilogy that came out. Like that's still my all-time favorite.
Easily.
Well,
the Survivor one.
Yeah, same.
After the disaster that had been AOD, which this will probably air on
next week.
Yeah, so in about 5 days after this premieres, the new remaster collection comes out.
Okay.
So hopefully they straighten out a lot of things because, as Spear's doing it, they're owned by Embracer Group. We know what happens if something doesn't sell to their expectations.
That's any video game company right now.
That's true. Even if it does sell well, if it doesn't sell like super well, it just feels like they just completely want to fucking nuke the entire thing.
Yes.
Yeah, but after the flop that was Angel of Darkness, they wanted to... I think it was decided by Crystal Dynamics that the property needed a reboot. And if you have never played this before or didn't even know it was a reboot, it's the first sign that there's a reboot is that you have in that opening cinematic.
Yeah.
The crash.
There's always a crash.
Yeah. And this time it's Lara, younger Lara, and her mother.
Couldn't keep her hands or to herself either. Shouldn't have touched that damn thing.
Didn't touch the glowing sword.
This is all Lara's fault. I mean,
yes, but we'll also get to that a little bit later.
Oh, of course. I don't mean to put the cart in front of the horse here, Richard. Go for it.
Yeah, she sees her mother literally disappear in that moment, which, let's face it, that's going to be traumatizing for any child.
Oh, God, yes.
Oh,
especially you can't explain it. Like, what are you going to say? My mom went into a portal. Like, people can understand my mom died in a car accident. Okay, now my mom went through a portal.
No one's going to believe you.
No.
Yeah, and it's also what fuels also her father's extra search into this stuff, which we'll find out about that later. But it's basically sets the theme for this iteration of Lara Croft. A Lara Croft who had more support from her parents than she did in the other timeline.
Wait, yeah, we should play play those at some point. We're going to go in reverse here.
Yes.
The show will never end, I guarantee. I will always be a guest for these. We have so many of them.
Yeah, we're going to go back and do the other ones. We're doing Underworld later this year, and then I'm going to go back and do the early Tomb Raider games with you guys too sometime.
Can't wait.
Year, probably.
Yeah.
Well, when you do number 2, it's going to be a recover.
Yes. I'm still going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first one I was on.
I forget that we even did that episode.
Yeah, how many of these have I been on at this point? I feel like hang on. This is one thing I was trying to figure out because I've done is this my 4th Tomb Raider game that I've been on? Because we did the Survivor trilogy and then the other one, right?
This is your
fifth. This is my 5th game of Tomb Raider that I've played with y'all. I played 3 Dead Space games, 2 Alice games, Metal Gear Solid, right?
3, yes.
And then have I done another one?
I don't remember.
This is like my 12th or 13th episode of the show I've been on, statistically. This is, yes. The Once and Future podcast. Oh, and did we do Red Dead as well?
Yeah, we did the first Red Dead, and you're on Undead Nightmare, too.
Yep. Oh, so I've done 13 of these.
Yeah, I mean, he's got me...
Lucky number 13.
He's got me for all the Assassin's Creed episodes.
Oh, man, Rich, he will never let us go. No. We should start asking for more money, Rich. We are unionizing right now.
Hey, I finally got to do film episodes with him the past year.
Oh, wow. We're teaming up on you, Mike.
The one thing about this game that I picked up on that right along is that this game goes for the very sexy Lara, which I feel like Anniversary didn't go for as much.
Yeah.
Like the old games did. I mean, the reboot trilogy obviously doesn't, but this one is full on board.
Her in that dress, dude?
Yes.
Yep.
That really made me think of Indiana Jones. Temple of Doom. It just has that vibe to it.
It does, and I kind of love it.
It also shows that this is also a more adventurous Lara Croft than what we got in Survivor to start off with.
Definitely.
Yeah, this is much more in line with what and who she was, I'm assuming, in the original series.
In the original series, she was the only one. It was only her that was on that plane, not with her mother.
Mm-hmm.
She still had that adventurous spirit, as is shown in the original timeline. It shows that in the opening sequence of the 4th game and in the flashback sequences in Chronicles. Which, when we get to that, we can talk more about that at that time.
Oh, one thing funny that I have to mention is, so I was watching a YouTube video from IGN, because I always like to watch a couple videos to refresh about a game, because I beat this game in 2 days, over a week and a half ago. And when I was watching the video, they said something that really made me laugh. They're like, oh, it has these playable cutscenes like in Resident Evil 4. And they did not even use the word QuickTime events because this was the beginning of that trend.
Oh my God. Yeah, and that was kind of the beginning. Yeah, wasn't it?
I just started laughing. I'm like, you would just say QuickTime events, but it wasn't a thing as much. I mean, you had it. Mm-hmm. Games, I mean, God of War does it. It was becoming a thing, but it wasn't enough for in the IGN video review to say it. That to me was just saying something.
Well, it was before all of us were sick of it.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
I still do. I liked it in this. I thought it was a good touch to the cutscenes to add that little bit of where you're playing. I also died once because I put my controller down to do whatever, eat something or have a drink. I died.
Somebody who likes to have a beer while he's playing a game. I mean, I like to have a little sip, check on the internet, and then I look up and I'm speared on something because I didn't look up. Resident Evil 4 has caused me to never try. I also did that game, so this is this is definitely our 13th game that I've been on. Whatever. 13th or 14th one of these that I've
Super Mario 64 you're also on too.
What's that?
You were on Super Mario 64 also.
Okay, so wait, is this my 15th one?
I don't even know. You also been on a couple minis
okay, fine, yeah. Anyway, but yes, that was man, I am anyway, but yeah, so playing these games with you because they're not as much of a thing as they used to be. I cannot trust it. I cannot trust that I can set something down. Yeah. Excuse me, I swallowed beer the wrong way.
Next time, do it the right way.
Alcohol will do that to you.
It's not supposed to go into your lungs, Mike. If somebody... You also learn listening to this show. Don't... So,
Don't
get
put
a little
beer
bit of
directly into your
everything to it.
lungs.
Exactly. You're not supposed to, Mike. But yeah, no, like playing these older games, I forgot how prevalent the QuickTime events were. Like that, like every other game had this, right? It was Gears of War. Or wait, was it in Gears
This
of War?
is
I feel
before
like
Gears of War. Because this is
but
PS2.
around this era, I feel like this era, like Resident Evil 4, Gears of War, I feel like I feel like every single game had the QTEs in it, and I don't know when it started or when it died, but there was a good 5 to 10 year period where every
still
game
not
had them.
completely dead.
No, it's not dead. It's the QTEs. There was a time they had to squeeze them into every game.
Yeah,
And
every
this
single
trilogy,
game.
I think they put them more for, tense encounters or when Laura has to shoot somebody, a human being dead, that more plot point or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I still really like them. I've always been a fan of them, and this was no different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, it all depends on the game, how well they work. I mean, they got quick time events in Until Dawn.
Okay.
And that
But
was
yeah,
well for
yeah.
that.
But isn't that also more of like a interactive storytelling kind of thing?
Yeah, that is.
It's an interactive movie, essentially.
Right, in the same way that the Telltale games had them, where it doesn't necessarily stop the game if you mess them up. It just changes the game, right?
Mm.
Yes,
Yeah, it does.
and
which I don't mind that. I definitely, I still have flashbacks of Resident Evil 4 at the very end on that jet ski, taking 25 goddamn times, where I kept crashing into rocks which that to me just ruins it.
Yeah, no, I remember dying a lot in that too a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think there's definitely a fine line. I like when it changes things, but it doesn't necessarily just roadblock the entire game.
And they're not long. I mean, they're really simple here because this is such a early time where really just like press up, press left, like 3 or 4 commands, and boom, you're done with the cutscene. And
yeah, these weren't bad.
No, and it worked well.
Sometimes it was so quick behind each other that if you're not ready, if it just catches you off guard.
Well, yeah, but it gets a lot worse in other games. I just could not get over the fact that like the guy didn't say QuickTime event when it came to the, in the review. Because like now you would just say QuickTime events, but it was that early that the term wasn't there yet. It just cracked me up.
Wasn't invented yet. Interactive cutscenes, which sounds way cooler.
Or interactive cutscenes sounds way cooler. QuickTime event, oh god.
Again, this shit. I know because you're weird, Mike.
I also felt that this game does this game does a decent job of having exploration and combat. Like the gun combat is meh, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Like it was fun enough.
Yeah.
It had the parkour stuff that I love. I really like parkour in games.
Yeah, it still had the platforming that Tomb Raider the prior version was a little bit more focused on.
Yeah, which is definitely what the focus of Tomb Raider should be. Like I know some of the other games kind of strayed from that. I believe the sequel to this game went way off the rails, and then the third one kind of figured it out a little bit better. But yeah, no, like this I felt like did a lot more exploration heavy as far as this particular trilogy goes.
Yeah. I mean, you still had your secrets to find, which unlocked things, which I admit I did a little bit more exploring for them than I did when I was playing through it for the channel.
Yeah.
It also gets the story out there, which is something, prior ones, you basically read more of the story in the books or in the manuals or in the hint guides. This game had more story elements, and you really got more into the background of Lara. I mean, just from that opening cutscene.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I like getting more story. I think that's why I like this game, because this would have been the first Tomb Raider game I ever played. So this was, I had maybe dabbled a little bit with on a demo disc of Tomb Raider 1 or 2, but I didn't care about them. I thought they were stupid. So this is my first Tomb Raider game I've ever played.
Really? Huh.
And this is my introduction to Lara Croft, really. I saw the movie, but...
Yeah.
Well, I feel like most people either got in at the first, back in the PS1 days, or they got in at the Survivor trilogy, but I feel like this wasn't where a lot of people started. So you're very interesting in that way.
No, I think I'm one of the... Yeah.
See, I was in college.
Very few.
Yeah, I was in college when Tomb Raider first came out, and I didn't get the games until I got them on my computer. I had a computer that could handle them, so I got the first one in 1998. and then picked up the other two after that. But of course, when they're on the home systems and all that, and you see the pictures and that remarkable ad for the second game, shows arcades empty and other places where guys would normally hang out empty, and you look and the one guy in the arcade is like, Laura's back. But that was, again, more platforming. That was, once you see the enemy, your gun, and you have your guns out, they're locked on.
Yeah.
This one, your guns didn't lock on until you got close enough, and unless that reticule turned red, you weren't guaranteed to hit them, which is very accurate.
Yes.
You still can, but yes, you don't think you are.
Right.
I had to use that because the guy told me that you're still hitting them. There were some assholes with shields where I just had to keep shooting him for like a good 20, 30 seconds before it finally killed him, but it makes you think he's not getting hit.
Yeah, but it is a very good... It shows the evolution of the game. I mean, even in the later games, which are really more exploration than hunting for secrets.
Which is what I like better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't go for any of the secrets. I mean, I'd grab stuff that I found on the way, but even then, I did not give a shit.
Yeah.
I just wanted to play the game.
Yeah, I mean, I was going more for finding some of these secrets than in the previous playthrough. But it also, I mean, I love how it opens that you're in, is it Bolivia?
Yep.
Bolivia.
Every time I hear Bolivia, I always think of, this is a stupid memory, of the movie Bolt. And there's the dogs hanging the guy, and he's like, Bolt. So every time, that's a stupid thing that pops in my head. Bolt.
You're thinking of Olivia, and I'm saying Bolivia. Great.
No, I thought he says Bolivia. Because she asked where are they, and he says Bolivia.
Bolivia, fun fact, is a landlocked nation in South America that has a navy. Do you know why it has a navy?
I do not.
Because of Lake Titicaca, which was voted by the UN as the world's funniest named lake. So you've learned something new. Thank you very much. But they actually do have a navy on that lake. It's also the only country in the entire world that has 2 capitals instead of 1, and it has the world's tallest capital by elevation, that is La Paz, Bolivia. So listening to this podcast, you will learn geographical knowledge as well as to not breathe beer into your lungs. You are welcome.
Right.
This is why you have me on these shows, Mike. Thank you. Anyway, about video games or something.
Yeah, I mean,
this game does a good job of switching up the levels too, and it really does have that, which I know Tomb Raider was known for already at this time, right, Rich, to be the whole globe-trotting type game?
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically Indiana Jones, but,
with a sexy woman.
Very sexy.
Yeah. And no punching Nazis, unfortunately.
Which we can't all be perfect, but,
Well, I mean, let's face it. The prior games, you had more locations in each game. They started getting away from that, I think, in 4 and Chronicles. While you still had multiple locations, I mean, you're basically getting 4 different stories, so it's like 4 different mini games, if you want to think of it that way. That was 5, 4, and 6. Only 2 locations in that one. Of course, it was intended to also be the first part of a trilogy.
Oh, that worked out for them.
They also got very loose with the term tomb.
Yeah.
The skyscrapers in Tokyo can be a tomb.
Hey, I liked that level.
It was great. It was a great
fucking level.
I know, you're not wrong. I mean, with the dress and probably there was other stuff going on, but
the motorcycle where she flies over.
That was actually awesome. Yeah. You know what? But I'm saying, like, if you're calling it Tomb Raider, they kind of stopped being like, okay, this is Indiana Jones after a while, and it's also kind of James Bond, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with it. I like it.
Yeah, it's basically you're still looking for an ancient artifact. It's just more in a more realistic sense. Yeah, is it possible that it could have been stolen by goons from the Yakuza and that? Yes.
Why not?
It's possible.
Very George of the Jungle. In that you take him out of the jungle and into the city, and he still does all of his jungle climbing and antics, but on the side of skyscrapers. So why not? If George could do it, Lara can do it too. We are equal
Yeah, but also,
opportunity himbo here. It's fine.
yeah, well, Laura's also a lot smarter than George.
You are not wrong. You are not wrong. She is anthropologist, right? Or archaeologist?
Archaeologist, yes.
Which are the alpha chads of all of the social sciences, just so y'all know.
And besides, she's not the one that'll always run into a tree.
Well, actually, in the Survivor trilogy, you can, but only if you fail a QuickTime event, and then you will George of the Jungle into the side of a tree.
Except that George can usually survive it.
Typically speaking, yes, he has what is known as Bugs Bunny logic.
You survive when you shouldn't.
Exactly.
Well, he's not. I don't think he's even smart enough for Bugs Bunny logic.
No, but definitely like the Bugs Bunny durability. See, this is what I do, Mike. I take whatever y'all are trying to talk about and roll it into literally anything else. This is why you love me.
That's why we have it here, so it's all good.
But yeah, I mean, we started in like Bolivia, and of course, Laura loves taking risks like that. You can even tell it.
Honestly, relatable. I mean, personally,
you survive a plane crash, able to get down safely, apparent from the Himalayas as a little girl. Yeah, you got a survivor there.
Exactly.
I'm only going to seem like it'd be a traumatizing thing, especially as a little kid trying to get away.
It should be. It should be.
No, I mean, let's face it. That's also like in the original timeline, she survived the plane crash she was in, and it also fueled her love for adventure. Why she went into tomb raiding.
Exactly.
And she only does it for sport.
Which, like, honestly, you think she would be a little bit soured on it after her first experience, getting into a plane crash, and then her mother literally being right through a void. You think she might, say, you know what? I think I want to go into finance. Office jobs sound pretty nice.
Hey, to be fair, we played the Survivor trilogy, and after that first horrific game for her, she kept going places. So, hey.
To be fair, I did get bitten by an alligator, and then I just never stopped. So maybe she's onto something there. I still jump on them, so I don't know.
You reminded me of something funny. I was watching the movie, or the show, Swamp Thing, and they had a guy that was spitting out bees, and you were the first thing that came to mind. Cody.
Oh, the bees! Oh, Jesus Christ, where?
No, not the bees!
You see bees? You see bees behind me? I got stung by 65 bees, Mike. That is why you had me on that show, I guarantee you.
Well, that and you eat animals.
I'm going to traumatize Cody again. Oh, yeah, I will talk about animals on any given show that I'm on.
You want to know something? When speaking of alligators, when I saw Noob Saibot's Animality in MK1.
Hell yeah, you did.
It's called See You Later. And he and his shadow turn into two alligators and literally split your fallen foe in half like a wishbone. I had to laugh at that.
0 out of 10 would not recommend getting bitten by an alligator. It's a story I cannot tell on the air, but trust me,
Yeah, no, I'm good. I've seen them.
I have showed you the actual like bloody leg, right, where she almost pulled off my my leg, right, Mike?
I don't think so, but I'm not going to see it.
Well, you're going to see it now.
No.
Oh yeah. I need to hear your actual response to this inside a chat. But go on and keep talking while I pull this up.
This game only had one animal that you have to kill, which is just jaguars. I think that's what they are that you run into.
Yeah, not enough critters in this game compared to the Survivor trilogy, which had all kinds of really cool stuff.
Yeah, because it's a different type of game. There's no crafting, because this is a different era. I mean, this is late PS2 era.
But look at that chat, Mike.
Yeah, I saw that. That looked painful.
It did not feel good. It's not the best in the world either.
If you thought that felt good, I mean, I've heard of sadists, and masochists, but whoa!
Statistically, you are more likely to meet somebody that has been struck by lightning than bit by an alligator.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
I haven't met you in person yet, but whenever I get to Texas, I will be.
Please do, Mike. We are going to make videos. It's going to be great.
I got to go to Texas someday. and meet a few friends, and you're one of the people.
Come see me, man. Gotta come see me. The house is open anytime, Mike.
At some point, but I got to go to Austin for sure. I got to meet Bill Tucker.
Oh, hell yeah, man.
I can't remember what city you were in, but we'll ask that.
Austin, same. I am in Austin. It's like 2.5 million people here. I don't mind saying that I live in Austin. That's fine.
I also got to get to Dallas when I get to Texas because I have to see where Kennedy was shot.
If you must. I'm a Dealey Plaza. It is spooky. Okay, yeah, no, that is a very good reason to go. In fact, they have a spot on the street itself where it's weird. It's weird that the city would do that, but they literally did that.
I mean, hey, as long as they don't have a gold statue of somebody, I'm okay. And I feel like that might be coming the next 4 years. But hey,
up in the grassy knoll.
There'll be just gold statues in every city.
Mm-hmm.
But let's.
We're not that kind of podcast, Mike.
So I wish I was drinking.
I got to go to Greenland and defect to Denmark. So enjoy me while I last, Mike.
I think there is a gold statue in my hometown.
Oh my God, really?
Not for the carrot, but
for who?
Let me see. I'm just bringing it up because just to see a picture of it.
Now I have to know.
I mean, I know there's a statue of Rocky, which I'm fine with.
Even though Joe Louis exists, they still.
Yeah, it maybe looks gold in the light. Let me see. Yeah.
For Joe Frazier.
Does have a golden look into it. But no, one of my hometown's big names, Larry Holmes.
Larry Holmes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's solid. I like it.
He had his statue put up in Easton.
Right on, man. Where do you live, Richard? I don't think I've ever asked that.
I currently live in Nazareth, Pennsylvania.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, and that's not too far from Easton and Bethlehem and Allentown.
Very solid.
Yeah.
And where are you again, Mike? General area?
I'm in St. Paul, Minnesota.
St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm down here in Austin, Texas. Funny enough.
Hey, you're probably either you or Mike are probably the farthest from New Jersey. So
I was gonna say, I think
we're
a
both
little
far.
bit further. Yeah, we're both a good little ways.
He's far though.
Yeah,
because you have to go south and more west, and I'm more west.
Exactly.
But one thing I do think is a nice addition to this game. I mean, it kind of fits the era where you have like when you ride the motorcycle parts. Those are fun. I really enjoyed them in this game.
Yeah,
they are a bitch with somewhat of a bitch, but yeah, they are. Yes. They do have their fun.
They can be a little hard.
Yeah, but it's like,
but cool. The vibes are immaculate, like throughout the entire game. But yes, really fun.
Yeah, but like I said, when we started in Bolivia, Laura is going to a tomb to check things out, and of course, got mercenaries there. So of course, not cool with that. And we first meet Rutland. I can't remember his first name.
Is that the guy in the red shirt?
Yeah, I believe so.
That you eventually kill?
Yeah, and he is basically she they get to the site. The mercenary, he's not necessarily keen and wants to know what's going on. And he's like, he makes mention that Amanda said you were sloppy or something like that, which triggers something with Laura because this is a person that she thought was dead.
Oh, that was the blonde chick, right? That gets grabbed.
Yep.
Okay, was that a flashback?
That was a flashback section.
Oh, okay, because I vaguely remembered it, and I was like, "You just died." Like she's like, "I thought she was dead." I'm like, "She just died like a few minutes ago. What the hell are you talking about, lady?" But that makes more sense now.
Yeah, and of course, then he leaves with her, and the mercenaries go to kill Laura, and of course she mows them down, typical Laura fashion.
Exactly. Like borderline genocidal. I'm fine with it. I am into it. I don't know if everybody's into that, but great.
But it's also when she discovers something about the Bolivia site that she had seen stuff like that before in Peru.
Yeah.
And also, in Peru, and also when her mother disappeared. And so this is what begins her going back to Peru. First, she wants to find out, did Amanda really die?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand how you just not figure that out when you're, go look for your friend. But hey.
Yeah, well.
I guess the place falling apart. You're like, we gotta go. See ya.
Yeah.
And she could have sworn she saw, that's that flashback we have after we go to Peru. After they're meeting with the friend and going to that town where everybody disappears because something's going to go down. find the
Isn't
mercenaries.
Peru's in South America, right?
Yes.
Yes, that's correct.
Not too far. Not technically.
Not far from Bolivia, right?
Not far from Bolivia. Fun fact, not a landlocked country. It is close to Ecuador. It's former home of the Incas and where Chichen Itza is. No. Yeah. It's where not. It's where Machu Picchu is.
Yeah.
Okay, because Chichen Itza is
the city up in the Andes. It is probably where the Amazon River begins. Fun fact, nobody knows where that river starts, but it's probably somewhere in Peru.
How do you not know?
Because no one knows. The jungles are so thick.
Oh, that makes sense. Never mind.
It comes underneath the ground and it comes out of the mountains and they can't tell.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's uncharted. I would love to go find it at some point.
Yes.
I don't think you'd come back.
Well, I mean, nothing. I'm not. Look, Mike, God ain't made a thing yet that knows how to kill me. All right. I mean, you know, I literally just sent you in that chat.
Yes.
My leg almost getting ripped off by a fucking thunder lizard, Mike. I've survived anything and everything. I've survived bar fights in Dublin. I ran off to Venice with a strange. I've done everything, man. Why
At
not?
least she wasn't a vampire.
Exactly.
Well, I'm talking to me right now.
You know, I have a vampire woman story at some point. I will tell. There is a clown in the other room here. I have no idea. I am not even kidding. There is a clown in the other room. So I might get murdered after this show. We'll find out.
Yeah, but no, that's actually would be a short trip from wherever she was in Bolivia to Peru. Might not be short to drive, but definitely a short trip.
Yeah, short in the video game world.
Yeah. They head to, after, of course, the shootout with the mercenaries in the small town. She goes to catch up with her friend, who's being pursued as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to motorcycle through that. Your first motorcycle section, which is a lot easier than the second one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you gotta shoot the guys down as you're catching up, and of course, you gotta keep their numbers down, catch up with her. Kind of cool that you land on top of the vehicle and then jump down to the other vehicle. That's a bit badass when they're
I like
they
that.
were fun. I mean, this is also the first game to have Laura have the grappling hook too.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is the game. This is the series. The game that in the series introduced it.
Exactly.
Well.
Does she have an Angel of Darkness?
No, but she does have a grapple. She can get a grappling gun in the last levels of Chronicles.
Oh,
but it doesn't
okay.
work. It works a lot different than what this is.
Okay, 'cause this is a thing that just part of the gameplay you just have.
Yeah.
Which is, I gotta admit, that's a nice little mechanic to add, and it also allowed for other things that they could do in Anniversary.
And it's after you finish Peru that you go to the best level in the game, which is Japan.
Yes. Easily the best part of this.
And was fun.
Yeah, because we've learned that there is something she found in Peru, but it sort of fell apart because it was so old and all that, or something, what looked like a sword. And so she's seen something like that before, but it was taken by Yakuza, who was she's sort of at a questionable understanding.
Mm-hmm.
And she agrees to meet him at a club where someone else she knows is.
And wears that dress. That dress.
I did.
You know the one I'm talking. I did like that dress a lot.
Yeah. And it shows that she's sensible too.
Yes.
I mean, let's face it. When things are about to get nasty, she either kicks the shoes off or breaks the heels off.
She is barefoot. I mean, not that I'm into that. Not that I am Quentin Tarantino or anything, but she is a barefoot for the entirety of the Japanese section of this game.
Yeah.
Early Quentin Tarantino, when you hire an actress, make a movie, put a scene in the movie, and then cast yourself for that scene.
But I mean,
I just wiggled my toes in chat to those that will never see what's going on the video here.
No, nobody will.
Which y'all are lucky, because I do not give that away for free. Rich, Mike, you are welcome.
Well, at least can't complain about that. Yeah, as she's, that climbing section outside, the motorcycle jump, great little thing.
Yeah.
That was cool. Okay, across from one building over to the other building.
Yeah. And
I
if
will
you
say
do that right, it's a bad thing for her.
Yeah. Now, I will say, this was the level where I don't know the better term for them. The Care Bear cousins, the people in your ear. You know the people in your ear in this game? Do you know what I'm talking about at all?
Zip and
Zip, I was not, like, I feel like even Lara was like, all right, guys, kind of, or shut up, I am trying to focus.
she respects her team, though. She does respect her team. I mean,
Does she really need a team, though? Does she need a team? I feel like
I think Zip first shows up in Chronicles.
he showed up in the game before this. Okay.
Yeah, Chronicles. Let me see.
Also, can I mention in the game before this, it was like a big deal when Lara killed a guy. Remember that?
Mm.
That was like a big thing. And in this, she's just absolute genocide. She's killing tons of dudes.
Let's put it this way. She would rather, if it's one-on-one, if she's rather one-on-one, she would rather try and negotiate.
Fair enough.
However, if you're going to pull out guns and shoot at her, she's going to return it.
Fuck around and find out.
Yep.
Fair enough.
I mean, let's face it, mercenaries are paid to, shoot first and ask questions later.
If they die, it's their own fault.
Yeah.
Okay.
Their life is on the line.
Yes.
So it's not so much, these are soldiers, they are soldiers paid to fight, paid to shoot, paid to kill. It's the risks. This is what they do. So there's little concern about her returning fire and shooting them.
Okay, so this is kind of like the clerk's defense then with the contractors on the Death Star kind of thing. Like the mercenaries knew what they were getting into, so we don't have to feel very bad about mowing them down.
Yeah.
All right, I can fuck with that, Rich. You know what? I now feel zero guilt about taking lives. I no longer picture the news that their families had to get about that.
Yeah.
It's fine. Those guys knew what they were getting into. But I just thought it was really interesting that at the end of the game before this, she's like, I don't know, like, I'm going to kill what's his nose or whatever his name was. And
Larson.
That was like Larson. And it's like, okay, that was a big deal, like towards the end of that game. Yeah, and this game is just absolutely wrecking dudes, just shooting them left and right.
Yeah, and in the original timeline, she was shooting dudes left and right.
Yeah, which is fair. In the OG, yes, she absolutely was. And dinosaurs. The first game did have more dinosaurs to it.
Yeah.
So immediate tick. That already drops this game down a level automatically for having fewer dinosaurs in it.
Yeah, there's no dinosaurs, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I know.
That would have been nice.
That would have been cool.
They couldn't fit it in. Logically, they couldn't find a way to properly fit it in.
I can put a dinosaur into any video game ever made. Like, I can find a place for him.
Well, let's face it, in downtown Tokyo, the only dinosaur you're probably going to see is Godzilla stomping.
Godzilla.
She's not going to be able to shoot.
Should have had Godzilla. She could have shot him. You know what? This game has automatically dropped another point because it didn't have Godzilla tearing down the skyscraper while she was in it and then climbing him like Shadow of the Colossus. I just wrote the new Tomb Raider game. It is now a crossover. $1 million thing. Money is on the table. Tomb Raider X or Godzilla. Write it right now. Done.
Only if they say, oh no, and they say he's got to go. Oh no, Godzilla.
My son loves that song. Blue Oyster Cult. They sleep on that. That song is amazing. I love, that's great.
And you're also reminding me I still have yet to play Shadow of the Colossus.
You've never played that game? Oh, it's great.
That's because it's on Sony.
Mike, you've done that game for this show, right?
Episode 14.
Okay, I was gonna say you must have done that.
You gave me the either the link or something to get.
I gave you information to help you.
Yeah.
Believe the hype. It's really good.
Oh, I never doubt it was good. I never doubt that it was good. I'm not necessarily going to buy a PlayStation just for one damn game.
Yeah,
don't do that. But other ways.
But, there's, ways to acquire it.
But I stayed away from even the temptation of playing it because for a couple of years I was writing a fic that took the story of Shadow of the Colossus from the eyes of all the Colossi.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I had the unique angle of never playing it.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I got a good deal of praise on it because of that angle. It just said the fact that you've never played this and you are getting this far into their heads.
That's cool.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, putting a dinosaur. I mean, I just played not too long ago the Golden Mask DLC for Tomb Raider 2.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I shouldn't say DLC because we didn't have DLC back then, but with the remaster, they include the gold stuff. And there was 2 Tyrannosauruses running around Las Vegas.
Dope.
I mean, it's a secret level in it that you can only access when you collect all 12 secret items in the Tomb Raider 2 Gold.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
And of course, you got to deal with the two Tyrannosauruses like Mike avoided in the first level of Tomb Raider 2.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to replay that someday. So yeah, someday.
And this time he's gonna go all secrets when he does it, and he is going to fight the 2 T-Rexes that somehow walk either in single file or come out of nowhere where we get like hi, I'm here now.
0 notes.
Is it so? You go to Ghana in this game. After Japan, I don't remember much about Ghana.
Yes, there is a temple there, one that Laura's father had been to before and checked out. It is also where we are fighting.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as good as the Japan level because it's just something so like when you're climbing on the skyscraper and everything, it just makes me feel like I'm
playing
modern day
Assassin's
Creed.
Creed again.
Yes. Okay, this is where you had you had a boss fight here where the guy's like a sword or something. Okay, that's when you kill the red shirt guy.
Yeah, no, you don't kill him.
You don't kill him, but you beat him.
You beat him.
Correct.
Or it doesn't kill him at this point. That was actually a clever battle. I mean, let's face it. After you get through all the trap-filled corridors and all that, which Laura wants to add to the rec room, much to Zip's chagrin there.
That was funny.
Yeah, and the other guy's Alistair.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's face it. That's I think also got added after the first Tomb Raider movie to show that she has a crew to work with.
And that movie was really popular. I feel at least the first one was.
Yeah.
Second one, not so much.
Yeah, but the second one kept the crew together.
And it had Gerard Butler in it.
Oh, I've only seen it once.
Just people don't remember that Gerard Butler was in that. Is he still in movies or
I think he's still in movies.
He must be. He was in Gamer, funny enough. And then 300, but that was like his first big movie. Yeah, no, he's Tomb Raider 2.
He still does movies. I just remember Daniel Craig's in the first Tomb Raider movie.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Very early Daniel Craig. A lot of like way pre James Bond. What was that movie where he was in like the mental asylum and he played a crazy guy? I really liked that movie. I can't remember what it was. Anyway.
No, Gerard Butler's been in a few films before The Cradle of Life.
Really? Okay. I know was it like Scottish stuff or was he mainstream at that point?
Dracula 2000. He played Count Dracula / Judas Iscariot.
Well, nobody's perfect, I guess.
He was in Tomorrow Never Dies.
He was in Tomorrow Never Dies?
I have no memory of that, and I've seen that movie.
I don't remember that. I was a big fan of the James Bond movies. I can't remember that.
He is listed as leading seaman on the HMS Devonshire.
Well, that makes 2 of us, because I am also a leading seaman. Waka waka. This is why you have me on your podcast.
There wasn't a whole lot that we do in Ghana, right? It's just we get another piece of the sword, go through a dungeon. I don't think it was a whole lot to.
That's about it. Yeah.
I think we get part of either one part of the sword or no. She's looking for something there, but she doesn't get it because of how things played out, I think. Mm-hmm. But she's also getting information. I mean, seeing the powers that it can do.
Yeah.
I mean, she got the first piece, I think, in Japan.
Yeah, she gets a piece in Japan.
She gets a piece in Japan.
I do like how you get a few different pieces throughout the game. I thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's 2 pieces, but then another piece. But the second piece, it's also where we start learning that these pieces connect. And it matches lore. In fact, it matches the story of a child and a sage. That is their guide, their counsel. Mm-hmm. A child that's put in a leadership position, which leads us back to England.
Of course.
Well, you have what was the Kazakhstan level? Because you go to Kazakhstan or I know I'm butchering it.
Kazakhstan.
Yeah, is that the
Kazakhstan? Yes.
Is that the ice level area you're in?
There's like a Soviet base. Yeah, there's
okay.
Which that jacket is legit. Like if there's one thing this game gets right, I think better than maybe any other Tomb Raider is the wardrobe, because that jacket, I want that jacket for myself. I don't even care if it is a woman's jacket, that trim, that whole thing. Whoa, wait, hang on. The jacket, that was the name of the Daniel Craig mental asylum movie I was thinking of. Brought it all the way back around. The movie was called The Jacket because he was in a straitjacket. You're welcome. Kazakhstan brought me all the way there. Best podcast ever, Mike.
That's why we guys come here, right?
Yep. Okay. All right.
That's a good level. Because that's the one where you're chasing the train on the
really
motorcycle. I enjoyed that a lot.
Okay. Yes. Here it is. She went there, I think, to find he possesses a sword fragment. So yes, he does have it. It is unknown where the sword fragment was found. Tracks him down to the temple, which her father had been at since he had left a pendant behind. He tells her about the Galali key, since he believes it's in her possession.
Right.
Because it was probably found in that temple.
Yeah.
Of course, she has no idea, and that frustrates him. They have, the fight defeats him. Oh, she does retrieve it, but let's see. Oh, the one that she thought. Okay, so yes, there were more than one sword more than two fragments.
Yeah, there's a bunch of the sword, and I do like how the whole idea that she's, world traveling trying to get these parts. I think that's a good. I mean, it's a very basic story in a little piece, but I like that idea of a story.
Yeah, it was cool.
But yeah, she does end in Kazakhstan, and of course we have the Russians there are under attack from the mercenaries. Oh yay, more mercenaries.
It's fine.
More fodder.
I don't mind. I thought this was a really good level, and like everything with the train, damn good.
Yeah, that was cool.
Oh yeah, the train. Yeah, you could. When we go, I love how they're talking in Russian. It's like, should we trust her? Yes, I don't. Just tell her something. They think they're being all slick because they're talking Russian. She's an English woman. She's not going to know Russian. Of course, then she responds in perfect Russian.
Of course she does.
Puts them in their place.
Always amusing. And again, I love seeing Lara Croft being a strong woman.
No, I love how damn smart that she is. I like that she plays off of what you would expect to be like a bimbo to be, but she's actually well versed in archaeology and languages, ancient history. Like, it's a total package there. So it sort of messes with the usual stereotypes of what you would expect that to be.
Yeah. And of course, then we have that fun motorcycle chase. And of course, doing all those fun jumps. Love hearing Zip go, woo-hoo-hoo-hoo!
It worked.
Hey, he's impressed.
Zip. I didn't need the voices in my ear for this entire game.
No, they're a little bit much, but
I feel like even at one point in this game, I'm not misremembering this, but even Lara's like, hey, shut up. I need to focus right now. Stop talking.
Yeah, there is.
She's climbing a building in Japan.
That's what it was. Okay, so I wasn't, but it's like...
Of course, she does worry when she can't hear from them.
Well, that makes one of us. Sorry, I'm being catty now.
They were attacked. They were attacked while she was there. In Guyana.
Yep.
But after you get
Ghana, not Guyana.
Ghana. That's what.
Ghana. You said Guyana. Yeah.
My bad on that.
Guyana is in South America. It's a whole different country.
I said it's my bad.
Okay. I'm just.
Of course, then we get to an old Soviet facility.
And I always enjoy Soviets being the bad guys.
Very easy bad guys. Much like Nazis, they're a very easy bad guy to have.
Yeah.
For now. But yes.
But that area is more puzzly than it is. Well, you have your moments of gunfire and trying to get past everything. I love hearing Zip geek out over the Tesla mechanism. I'll admit, I'd be like, whoa, myself.
That's a good scene. Is that also in that's in Kazakhstan too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like the whole Tesla coil stuff. The only issue for me is like when I think of a Tesla coil, I was thinking of Command and Conquer Red Alert, where it zaps people who get near you like a turret. And in this game, it just picked up stuff and threw stuff.
Magnetic gun. Hey, let's face it. If it's gonna hold this magnetic thing, and throw it at you and like bonk, hey, that's gonna kill.
I didn't like it, but you only have to use it for one part. I wasn't a fan.
Yeah, it was a very small part of it.
The level was great. I really enjoyed Kazakhstan.
Again,
those halls were trap-filled terrors.
And the jacket was immaculate. 0 notes.
But this is also where we have a true sort of face-to-face encounter with Amanda.
Yep.
Oh, this is when you first find out that she's still alive. Or
Well,
did you
when
find
you
it
go
out?
through when you go to Peru, you find the shoe, but you see that it was unlaced.
Oh yeah, that's where. Okay, that's where I remember being confused.
That's right.
I'm like, does this happen? What are you doing? But yeah, never mind.
Yeah, and we also learned that she made a friend while in Peru. That damn entity.
Oh yeah, that creature that you kill in Kazakhstan. I know I'm saying it wrong.
Kill it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you like trap? No, you trap it or something, don't you? Or you Tesla coil? No, you just grab the sword and run. Is that what happens?
Yeah, you have to use. That's another clever design in a boss battle. While you can't kill the damn thing, you have to power up all the things, as well as another Tesla gun, magnetic. Use it to get those electrodes to charge and get between all of those things, so it will release the piece of the sword that's up there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to get out of the thing and quickly magnetic. Of course, the hardest thing about it, and it's harder with mouse and keyboard than it is with controller.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
And I did it with mouse and keyboard the first time I did it.
Elite gamer in Rich here, because I could not do that with a mouse and keyboard.
Well, I didn't get the controller until closer to when we were recording for anniversary. But yeah, you have to use that to knock the thing out, get it, yank it out, and like I said, that's a bitch with the mouse and keyboard. Easier with the controller. But I mean, yeah, I did it because I didn't get the controller until we were, getting close. I was getting close to the end of anniversary. We were getting close to recording time. That was a bitch and a half.
I do really appreciate when you go to England. I think that might have been my favorite level in this game.
It is. It's sort of like you go to some place that's corny.
You go to a museum for King Arthur, and I think that's adorable because I'm sure they have stuff like that in England.
Yeah.
But to us, Americans, it has has a more specialness to it than I think it would have had for England. Like, oh yeah, we got one of those in every town, you asshole. Like,
yeah.
I don't know why I went Scottish there for a second, but
I like the fact that it was apparently built on what they thought was a tomb for King Arthur, but it proved to be it wasn't a tomb. And then we get there after working our way through the museum. And this is where the banter between Zip and Alistair is really, really funny to have in the background.
Yeah.
Because this was a time where it actually felt worth it.
Yeah, I mean, you have Alistair, who is knowledgeable on the lore, and of course believes it's truly a myth.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Zip being your typical unabashed, only learned about King Arthur from Disney or through inaccurate lore because of what we learned through stupidity. I mean, this is where some people, if they didn't know the lore, learn some interesting facts. I mean, let's face it, not many people knew probably before this, that the Sword and the Stone and Excalibur were not one and the same.
Two completely different things.
I didn't know that. I think I thought they were the same thing, even though I should know this.
You troglodyte. Are you not up on Le Morte d'Arthur?
Not surprisingly. Not enough, apparently.
Did you just sleep on your entire sophomore year of high school, Mike? Wow,
I was there. I don't think we talked. I don't even remember what the hell we talked about.
You didn't read Le Morte d'Arthur?
No.
You are not a Thomas Mallory fan.
I got exposed to some of the stories when I took British literature.
Thomas Mallory is rolling in his grave, Mike.
But I don't think we ever.
That's a joke for two people.
I don't think it was ever fully covered that they were two separate swords.
Yeah, they are two separate swords.
I feel like I should have known that as a guy who, I was into King Arthur a decent amount. I thought I still think it's a cool story.
Oh yeah, there's people who are quote into King Arthur but still don't know that fact.
I do now, thanks to this game. So
exactly, this is a podcast of learning. This is you should reclassify this, Mike. We've learned about Bolivia. We've learned about King Arthur now, and we have learned not to put beer directly into your lungs. See, and
we learned not to fuck with alligators.
Hey, PSA, you know what? That is everything. This is a full college credit, Mike, at this point. Hour and a half, college credit.
Oh, fun fact that I can't go into more detail, but I will say that in case you were curious, there was an old person that did get eaten by an alligator once. So really? I do know that.
Wow.
Yeah, there was a assisted living community in South Carolina. I'll leave it at that. That somebody who had memory loss, who had dementia or something, ended up walking and getting eaten by an alligator.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they got sued. So
yeah, I would think so.
But yeah, alligators don't discriminate.
No, they do not. I am living, walking proof of that. They do not.
But I'm sure you fucked with it first.
You know what? You're not wrong. But still, sure it's a wonder I didn't get bit sooner, Mike. I will not. Yeah,
we're from Louisiana. I guarantee there was a young Cody, under the age of 13, fucking around with alligators somewhere nearby.
There are pictures of me.
Okay.
Okay. Here's one for you. Here's one for you. It's got to be a blue law.
Let her rip.
In one state, and we'll let you guess the state after I read the law, it is illegal to tie an alligator to a fire hydrant.
Oh man. Illegal to tie an It feels like Florida, but I'm going to go with Mississippi, same as Mike.
Nope. That's a law on the books in Michigan.
Michigan. Okay, thank Christ, because I have done that in Alabama. I've done that in Nebraska, never done that in Michigan. So I feel like that's one law that I have not broken.
I mean, is there any reports of alligators naturally living in Michigan?
No, I usually leave mine back at home when I travel. The TSA gets really shitty about it, so I just stop traveling with them.
There might be in 100 years when the equator moves because we pollute the planet too much. There might be alligators living in Michigan.
His will be done, and they will be giant as well. So.
And apparently the American alligator was listed as an endangered species under the Endangered Species Act of 1973.
And they're doing very well now, thanks in part to alligator farms. So if you actually want to support alligator conservation, buy a pair of alligator boots. It supports sustainable alligator farming or practices. So you can feel very good about buying ethically sourced alligator leather. So.
What kind of soil do you need for growing an alligator?
Usually a nice peaty loam. You want to go very moist, but not overly moist. Very well. Just let nature run its course, actually.
So instead of Tiger King, was there an Alligator King also, Cody, out there somewhere in Texas?
I should be that guy, but I'm not yet. A man can dream, Mike. Actual fun fact about alligators is that the temperature that the eggs are incubated at will determine the sex of the alligator upon hatching. So fun fact there. If they're very warm, they'll be girls, and if they're a little bit cooler, they will be boys. So you can actually figure out whether or not you want your clutch of alligator eggs to be all boys or all girls, depending on how hot or cool you incubate your eggs at. So that's another fact that you're learning from games my mom found.
Okay, well, here's one now, and this is I'm going to give you one. There's a blue law for Texas. It sort of also pertains to something we talked about earlier.
Uh-huh.
A city ordinance states that a person cannot go barefoot without first obtaining a special $5 permit.
Ooh, this is a good one. Mike, do you want to guess?
Houston? I mean, are we guessing the city?
No, this is state.
Oh, right? I thought you said Texas.
Yeah, I did say Texas.
Okay. This is a city in Texas?
It says a city ordinance.
Oh,
I'm going to say Houston, since I know Houston is one of the most conservative, one of the big conservative cities.
It doesn't specifically say whichever.
I feel like Beaumont came up with that. If you've ever been to Beaumont, you have at least one listener in a city that is laughing their ass off as soon as I said that.
Okay,
this is for that one person. This is that one person that is listening to you in Beaumont, the Texas Cajuns. You cannot, I guarantee you that was started in Beaumont. That's also where I think the city Dirty Dancing was based off of.
You mean Footloose?
Footloose, you're right.
Dirty Dances in the Catskills.
You're right. You're right. I was mixing that up, but yes, that was in Beaumont, Texas.
Okay. I've never seen Footloose, unfortunately.
Here's some ones that you definitely get a laugh out of, and you should be careful too with Cody.
This was originally about a Tomb Raider at some point.
Yeah.
Go on.
Well, we're about to get back there. So
go on, Rich.
For a laugh, these are two blue laws or dumb laws in strange laws in Texas. There's an old law in Texas that states you are unable to tuck your pants into one boot unless you own 10 or more cattle.
Over my cold, dead body.
And in Texas, you can be legally married by publicly introducing a person as your husband or wife 3 times.
That is how I got married the first time, I will have you know. That was a mistake. I was drunk.
Real?
Maybe, actually.
Okay.
Kind of, sort of.
Not
No,
your story, but I mean, like, that's...
but that is real, and that is actually how I got married the first time. Did not mean to.
All right, well, let's
And
move.
then I married her again in Las Vegas on a pirate ship on Halloween. That is also a true story.
That I believe.
Both of those are true stories, Mike.
I believe one. So the stuff with England, I do like how you eventually find out that the Excalibur is, the sword from legend is this sword that you're looking for.
Right.
Yeah.
I do like how they tie that together.
And then, of course, you just love it that because they thought they didn't find the tomb. And they thought it was the tomb, but couldn't find anything or something. And Laura gets down there. It's like, yeah, I know a fake tomb when I see one. And I know a decoy when I see one. It was a decoy tomb.
And then it's a real tomb eventually.
Oh,
Exactly.
yes. They hide the real tomb behind the decoy.
Which makes sense, because I think they knew even back then people are going to steal shit. So, hey.
Well, yeah, it's been a long-standing tradition that you're gonna have grave robbers.
Well, I mean, to be fair, if your dumbass buries a bunch of treasure with a dead guy don't need it anymore. He's dead.
That's not what they believed in Egypt.
I know. They also believe that your servants get to die with you because you're dead. They get to come with you.
Which I did not sign up for.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what happened to people. Like, oh, hey, he's dead. Well, guess what? You're joining him. What?
And some took that as a great honor. But this is also where you go. I swear that climb. Both times I played it, even one time with, mouse and keyboard and one time with the controller here, that was a difficult climb. I think there was like some bugs in that.
Maybe so. It does kind of stand out when I think back at it that it was a bit trickier than most of the other ones that were both in this game and in other games.
Yeah. So there were some, tricky things there.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you gotta love how much of the trap work they did for that. I mean, look at all the traps. Hey, we got these giant spinning blades going like on the vertical.
Why not? Why
we
not?
got flaming floors. Why not?
We heard you like traps, and we got traps in the trunk. We got traps in the traps. That's what I think.
Reference, Mike.
And then having to get the various those metal boxes that help you, scale some of those traps. Oh my gosh! And of course, then we have after we get into Arthur's tomb and get another piece of Excalibur. Well, and of course, love it again. You gotta have all that witty banter. I love that witty banter during this section.
It's good in the England part. I will say that. Not good all the time, but it's good in the England.
It's not the same sword. I think Zip was doing that just because it was fun. It's a nice little tension break too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you kind of need it at this point, so I get it.
And then, of course, once you finally get that sword and you then leave that tomb, you got the snake.
Oh yeah, the basilisk fight.
Oh yeah,
I forgot about that. That was decent.
That was another good puzzler, and it wasn't just the only snake in there. I don't think.
I think it's the only snake. It's just that you had
it
to.
Might have been, yeah,
it's the only snake. You just had to keep shooting the bells to distract it, and then you shoot the lever. I had a couple hard times just getting things to lock on right, but that's because
it was tricky. I mean, you have to ring the bells to distract the thing, get to focus on that, then use the magnetic grip to pull the lever, bonk it with the cage, do it 4 times, apparently dies, collapses, you run over to get out of the area, and as you're going through that whole area, hey, there's another snake!
I don't remember that.
Snake. One of the quick time events was avoiding getting eaten by a damn thing.
Oh, I think it just comes back. I think it wasn't actually dead. I think is what it was. That's what I think it was. I don't remember exactly. But that was my guess.
But it's And then of course you find out that the mercs have gotten there now, so you're gonna have to plow them down again.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Going all the way up to the top. And you could just tell that while Zip and Alistair are sort of at gunpoint, and then the guy hears something going on, like, what's going on in there? They just relax, chill, wait. Laura comes out, kicks the guy's ass. They go back to the manor, putting the sword together and noticing there's a piece missing. There is a piece missing.
And that brings you, not the last level, but pretty much, because you go to Nepal.
Yep.
And Nepal's the last real level.
Yeah. Back to the plane crash, because the pin that Laura's mother wore and had worn it on that trip, and they had left it there on the plane, which I got to say, that's amazing that thing is still on that plane after all this time.
Right.
But that's the key to putting the whole sword together. And of course,
I also like Nepal a lot. I thought Nepal was a good section. Another section where you actually have to run. I'm assuming those aren't jaguars. I'm assuming those are supposed to be tigers or snow leopards?
Yeah, that would be snow leopards.
Okay.
Yeah, they weren't in that temple the first time that Laura and her mother were there.
Well, I mean, I can buy it. They would be traveling around and they just end up there, shelter, food.
Yeah. And of course,
snow leopards are incredibly difficult to see in the wild too. Even physically, you will never see one. You could be 10 feet from one. You never know it's there
because they're almost dead, or
no. Well,
blend in.
They blend in, and they don't usually attack human beings. They would have to be badly injured or literally starving for them to want anything to do with you at all.
Yeah, that makes total sense in that environment. It's that's food.
Yep.
I'm sure there's enough. I always thought snow leopards are just so beautiful too. I love big cats. I would love to be able to be around a big cat and just pet it. But the other issue would be the fact that I know that big cat could just eat me. So.
And it probably would. Yeah. So even if you were how domestic cats will just randomly bite you even though you feed them?
Yes.
What's to stop any other cat species from doing that?
See, that's a big reason why I don't mess with giant cats.
Don't be Tiger King. You're gonna lose limbs, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's always just God fucking Tiger King. I looked it up. He's still in prison, by the way.
Yep, as you should be. He's still begging for a reprieve from Trump. It shouldn't happen. I got tons of Joe Exotic stories I will tell at some point, but this has already gone on long enough.
Yeah. Of course, I love that to get across, you have to swing across.
Yes.
I did that part wrong. I went across the bridges, then I realized I was supposed to swing away. So yeah.
Oh boy. Did the bridges collapse while you were running across?
No, they just stay there because you're not supposed to be down there, but I jumped across them. I'm like, this makes no sense. I'm at the end. And then I think either I looked at a guide or I looked at a guide. I thought, you just swing across. I'm like, oh yeah, that's simpler. I went the harder direction.
Yeah. Always got to make it harder on yourself, Mike.
I do sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Where's that image again?
It's in my phone. Don't worry. So,
he knows what I'm talking about.
Of course I do.
Yep.
And then after that, when you finally get the pendant, you get the sword put together. Then you go back to Bolivia again. Bolt. Yep. That's all I ever hear.
Yep.
And I think Bolivia is really just the boss fight. I don't think you do much there other than the boss fight.
Where you first fight off the mercs.
Okay, and you get to use the sword.
Oh, yeah. They are not ready for that.
That sword was fun. It was just nice to have a different weapon. I mean, yes, you do get a few different weapons throughout this game. You can pick up shotguns and assault rifles from people, but the sword was nice.
And then you have to fight Amanda, pretty much being possessed by the entity, but this time you actually got a weapon that can harm it.
That was nice, and that wasn't too bad. It took a little bit of time. I used up all the med kits that I had and were in the area before I finally killed it, but it was fine. It was fun.
Yeah, I mean... And that's one complaint. Speaking of the medkits, that is one complaint I had about this one. You only get to carry 3 medkits. If you noticed in Anniversary, they kept with, you can hold as many as you want. They limited you on weaponry. How much ammo you could carry.
It was like the pistols and then one extra weapon, right?
In this one, yes.
Yeah.
In Anniversary, you still had your 4 weapons that you used throughout that game in the original, but they limited your weapon in Anniversary.
Yeah.
Your ammo.
Right.
I mean, you couldn't pick it up unless you had it.
But 3 medkits being locked to it is very much this era of video games too.
Yeah,
but
I
know. I get where you're coming from. Like the other Tomb Raiders let you do it, Anniversary let you do it, but it's just I think it's something to do with this era, which is dumb at times.
I think that was something that they took away because I'm not necessarily seeing that same limitation in Underworld.
Yeah.
But that fight, you either hit it right early on, or it takes you a good long while before you get into the right groove set to get it. That fight is a bitch because you gotta knock her down, knock the thing down 3-4 times, I think. Because each time you stab, you have to stab it while she's somewhat visible before you can truly destroy it, like 4 times. Pain in the ass when you only have 3 med kits.
Yeah.
And depending on how things go when you're wiping out the mercs, you might not have those extra med kits to grab.
Yeah, it does get pretty brutal, especially towards the end of it.
Yeah. But after all that happens, Laura finally takes the sword, puts it in the Dios there, sets all the symbols, and what do we have? When the thing was activated back in Nepal when she was there as a little girl, they were communicating over the time stream.
I do like that touch.
Yeah.
Which the event that made Laura's mother disappear, killing her at what she first thought, was caused by Amanda in this time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool trick that they do. Does this come back in Underworld?
It will be brought up in Underworld, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I said, I've started playing Underworld, and slight spoiler for you.
Ooh.
Natla's back as well.
Oh.
I know a little bit about Underworld because I bought it back in the day and always meant to get to it, but
I have it around here somewhere. I mean, y'all have seen this giant collection. It's somewhere in this big thing of games that's behind me. So
I have 3 copies of it.
I got done with the first section of the game, and it's kind of funny because when Laura boards a ship in that one, and you hear Amanda talking with someone. She's a bit pissed because she didn't get the item that she did get the item, tossed it away or something, because it's now only fitting to Laura's hand. I'm not going to say too much more, but of course, when we see Natla's there, Natla confesses that, even though she's annoyed with Laura, and she's stuck in a glass cage, she gets a little bit of enjoyment from needling on Amanda.
Oh.
And we also learn how much more tied in Natla's been with Laura's father's quest to find what happened to Laura's mother. I mean, this is where we also learn, Laura is truly pissed off, and that is remarkable control that she had to not shoot Amanda. Shoot right by the head, not shoot her directly in the head.
Yeah.
Because Amanda tells her that Laura's mother is in Avalon.
The mythical land, which is kind of cool.
I do look forward to when we get to Underworld later this year.
Yeah, that's going to be fun, yeah.
And that'll probably be one that I'll be either rushing through or working my way through, depending on when you have it set up.
Not till November, so.
I should have it done by then.
You got time.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, November. Yes.
But yeah, it's I like that every breath from that point on, Laura says, "You owe me."
It's a good ending to this game.
And that Laura then says, and I got to get all of my father's research out. And what do we tell them? Tell them from a friend as I tell them that father was right.
I do like that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And it's like points that we sort of retouch on in the Survivor timeline, where he's looking for eternal life and such. In this one, she's looking for access to the afterlife. And of course, in Underworld, we get to see more of those connections, which adds to why it's called Underworld.
Okay. I do look forward to that, but I think we should go to questions, comments, and memories. I got a few. Actually.
Have we not been talking long enough, Mike? I don't know if they're getting their money's worth here. Like, what, 3 hours?
No, not even 2 yet.
Not yet.
But all right, from the I Watched the Entire Overload Super Replay group from Matt Pickleton. This was the era of Tomb Raider I completely skipped over. I went from playing most of the PS1 games and never touching the series again until the Reboot Definite Edition on PS4. Going back to it after it was released on PS Plus, I was happy to see. That was really fun. You could see some of the DNA of what Crystal Dynamics would do with the Reboot series. The level exploration and puzzle solving were fun. The gunplay worried me at first. I thought you would just get shredded, but you have a decent enough moveset to handle every encounter. I'm planning on beating Anniversary and Underworld this year. Nice.
Nice, man.
I'm going to beat the other one this year. We did Anniversary last year.
And I did it twice last year.
And from the official Laser Time community from Chris Lichos, it's a cool game, and the graphics blew me away when a friend downloaded the 360 demo. It's far simpler than the old games, but felt like a nice way to modernize the series. Then they gradually started to reintroduce the giant puzzle room with Anniversary and Underworld, hoping they do another remaster trilogy with these three. Fun fact, this was the game I was playing with my 360 Red Ring. The graphics started freaking out, then it just shut down, and I drove to Best Buy for a replacement while listening to the newly released 10,000 Days by Tool. I love stuff like that.
Yeah,
just the random shit that just stays in your brain when someone mentions a game. Like, oh yeah.
Oh, believe me, Mike. If you haven't already figured this out, I am the king of random shit. Whenever you bring up literally anything in a video game, this is why you have me on.
Partly why. Yes.
Bolivia facts.
Bolivia. All right, and then from the Tomb Raider fans group from Marthis Basov, it is an awesome game. It helped us get over the horrors of Angel of Darkness, and I regard it as Laura's true debut on the PS2.
Mm-hmm.
From Antares D. Cyrillis, the first Tomb Raider with real discussion from Laura, simply great. From Adam Dawson, Legend is fabulous. From Rahat Zaman, love the Tibet level and its theme music. And last one from this group from Johan Ruschart, best game ever.
Mm-hmm.
Glad people enjoyed it. And then the last one I'm going to read, I have from Laura Cross Tomb Raider, from Kevin Poole, a great game. From James Caldwell, I love Legend and prefer LAU to Survivor. I don't know what LAU is.
Legend Anniversary Underworld.
Oh, thank you. But I grew up with classic, and out of the two modern renditions, I got to agree with LAU is more like classic style. It is. I mean, I still prefer the reboot stuff, or the Survivor trilogy more, but different games.
Yeah.
And from Wesley Croft, the LAU is the best modern representation of Lara Croft, keeping her characteristic and traits while updating the game to modern audiences. I feel like it was such a great iteration. Legend is literally my all-time favorite video game. It's got such a great replay value to unlock all the outfits. It's a shame it got cut short, and the head-to-head tomb challenges were cut from the final version due to time. Oh, okay. I don't know what that is, but sounds cool. I'm assuming like a time trial type thing. Multiplayer, but okay. Just a couple more from Michael Babko. It had hiccups, but still it was an amazing game. The whole trilogy. Laura was fun, mature with her wholesome humor and character. She was confident, strong, and a little bit shady.
I do love things that are a little bit shady.
And from Elizabeth Nichols, I love this version of Laura. The music was so beautiful and majestic. I had so much fun cutting everyone with Excalibur.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Yeah.
From Josh Martin, the hype was unfortunately bigger than the game itself, which made me disappointed upon finishing it. This came after the infamous heels of its predecessor, promising to be a bigger and better game that it couldn't quite live up to. Though Angel of Darkness reception was objectively not as praised, its overall execution was an appreciable, mature tone that Legend could not match until Anniversary and Underworld anyway, especially Underworld. It is still a nostalgic 2006 gem for me, despite all this said, especially summertime in June of that year. My wisdom teeth was distracted after high school exams. I was knocked out in recover mode while playing this game on PSP over and over. Even bringing it with me on road trips to the States, perhaps my repeated plays was my way of wishing it was a better game at the same time.
You know what? I can't even argue with that. Because I did
stories like that.
Yeah, like the wisdom teeth, man. That's going to be rough, man.
I had 4 taken out once, and all I remember is I woke up at the place. I got in the car with my dad. I was 17 at the time, and I remember going home, going to bed, waking up and going, oh shit, and pulling cotton out of my mouth. It's all bloody and being like,
it's
I need
bad. So, a fun wisdom tooth story. I will tell it very, very quick. The first wisdom tooth that I had yanked, they were just like, hold still, we're going to put pliers in your mouth and hold on to your face and literally pop them out.
Tell me you're a time traveler.
I know, right?
So I know we're the same age about, so.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this was circa 2003, I think, is when I had my
better.
They should have
better in about the 60s or so.
I would think so, but they numbed me up and they were just going to extract the tooth, and they did it, and I immediately felt a rush of air because they ripped a hole in my sinus when they did the first one because the roots went like up into my brain. So for the following 3, I did not have my other 3 wisdom teeth yanked until I was almost 30, and when I did, I said, y'all put me all the way under, which they did. Came back. It went generally okay, other than after the surgery, I apparently wanted to strip down naked. That's a whole other thing. As you do when you're...
you weren't yourself because you were drugged out of your mind.
Right, exactly, but it does make you more of who you already are. So anyway, once they kept their clothes on me, and I got sent back home, to avoid dry sockets, I do smoke a pipe. I smoke a a tobacco pipe, and I actually had to smoke it through my nose to avoid getting dry sockets. And if you've ever wondered what it feels like to be a junkie for nicotine, you smoke through your nose to avoid getting dry sockets inside of your mouth. And that is my wisdom tooth story.
Or just don't smoke.
You know what? I'm hearing a lot of judgment.
I used to live with smokers, I know.
I'm hearing a lot of judgment. I'm going to just put that right here. It makes you look sophisticated. Look at it, Mike.
No, I completely understand. I don't smoke, but
I know. I'm just mad. You're fine.
And then 2 more to read from Lisa Cooper. I was honestly very disappointed and actually upset upon completing Legend for the first time. It is a shadow of its predecessor games. Over the years, I made peace with it, but it never lived up to the legacy of what came before. All right, that's a different take.
You know what? I don't think you're exceeding, because I feel like this one was a bit more action heavy versus exploration heavy. So.
Yeah, but I have very little experience with the early games, so it means I don't have that attachment to them.
And these were your first, right, Mike?
This is my first Tomb Raider game, yes.
So you're going to have the nostalgia, I think, for the first game that you've played, if you like them.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
No, I get it. I don't blame them one bit for their opinion. And last one from Corey Bragg. After being disappointed with Angel of Darkness in 2003, I was very happy when Legend was announced. I remember how big of a deal it was that Crystal Dynamics was taking over, and I even remembered a magazine that had Laura's face and bandages on the cover to hide the new look Crystal had given her. Looking back, I say Legend is a super weak entry for me, and out of the LAU trilogy, I prefer Underworld, but I can't deny Legend seemed to make Tomb Raider popular again, whether I enjoy playing it or not. Yeah. All right. Good comment.
Yeah. Again, I won't say that they're wrong.
No, they're... And before we're going to give away a code before we go to Shelf Stacker Box. Let's see. Okay. Next code is Jack Move for Steam. The code is 0KC3DE2RGX39QFH. That is your code for Jack Move.
Apparently, it is a style of. It is basically a JRPG style.
It's like a visual novel or something. I don't know. I had it. I get codes. I get run out of codes.
It's good. Let us know if it's good.
I need it. I'm gonna have to start. Yeah, I'm gonna actually run out of codes probably in the next couple months because I don't get them.
Oh my god. Oh shoot.
Let's see. It's got 3.5 stars on Steam. Apparently.
Out of what?
Out of 5.
Well, that's not bad then. That's a solid C+. All
right, and then I will go to Shelf Stacker Box. And Richard, why don't you lead us in?
Well, I don't remember what I gave it in the first time round, but definitely this is going to be definitely a stack. It's one of those, I'm glad I played it. Some of the issues that it has, it's it's sort of that section going down to King Arthur's tomb, mixed feelings on the motorcycle parts. The limitation on the health packs, that's definitely turn off. I mean, I think they only kept that in that game. Because I haven't really delved into the health packs in Underworld yet. But, I mean, for what it is, I like the storyline they gave. They kept the survive an airplane crash theme that was in the first one. I like that it's more emotional with her story. It's obviously not the same Lara in the original in the first 6 games.
Right.
But I'd have to definitely stack this one because, again, I think it's more that the some of the glitches that I've seen in it. I mean, like that one section. Hey, I'm just gonna shimmy along this, and wait a minute, I'm supposed to be shimmying this way, but I'm just gonna shimmy in thin air, and then we'll get sorted out and put her back on that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. Now, personally, this feels like a stack for me too, Rich. Like I like the Tomb Raider series for what it is, and even in this own series, I liked the game before it and the game after it better. Even in hindsight, I haven't played Underworld in a minute, but I definitely remember liking it better. I feel like...
So basically, you think that this one doesn't live up to what it's a slow start into like a better game later on.
Definitely. Well, I feel like a lot of the second parts of trilogies can be really good, like if you do them right, in which I feel like if you're going to write a trilogy as a writer, and not that I'm an expert on anything, but as somebody that writes, is that if you're going to write a trilogy, you want the first part to be your character establishment with a smaller issue that they need. Like, look at a Star Wars, right? Your first part of your trilogy is sort of telling you who everybody is, and you overcome a smaller goal. Even if it doesn't seem small in that part, ultimately within the trilogy itself, it's the smaller threat. The second trilogy is telling the first part of a longer story. in which I think it works better when everything kind of fucks up by the end of the second, or at least it presents a much larger scope at the end of the second. And I feel like this one didn't do it. I feel like it tried to be a bit more self-contained without being terribly interesting. And it felt like it was more of a holdover. There weren't dinosaurs in this. It was more action oriented. Like it feels like it didn't hold that same kind of charm that both the original 6 games did, as well as the even the game before this, where it just felt like it was more exploration focused versus the action focused, like fighting helicopters and stuff.
Yeah.
That being said, however, there is a lot of things I do like about this game. I think that Japan is a strong standout for all of this. I liked all of the King Arthur lore. I like that this game didn't take itself overly seriously compared to some of the other Tomb Raider games themselves. I thought it was very, very fun in a way that sometimes this series kind of loses. Croft Manor in this, I think, was great. I don't know if you played Croft Manor at all. That was really fun. That was exploration. You're finding puzzles. You're going... This might be the best Croft Manor of any of them. I would need to go back and compare that, but I feel like they really did it right in this game, almost to the point where I feel like I wish the rest of the game was more like Croft Manor and it was more of a side story to it. So that being said, it's a lot of hot and cold with this game.
Yeah.
The parts of it that are good are really, really good, and the parts that are not so good are just, they could be in any other game, and that's a bit disappointing for as much of the highs. So this is very much a stack for me as well.
Yeah, but comparing it, of course, to Angel of Darkness, it's a much better game.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
And Mike, what did you think of it?
Yes, I'll put this on the stack also. I had fun. I'm glad I replayed it. I think my memory of it was better than what it turned out to be, but
usually is.
Yeah.
So still glad I replayed it. I'm glad that we're gonna get all 3 of these done on the show. So
same.
I do like Tomb Raider. Well, one of the Tomb Raider games I keep thinking about is the 2 Lara Croft, Guardian of the Light, and then the Osiris game, the top-down ones.
Yeah, those are like separate.
Yeah, it's a different universe, but I like those 2 games. I like one of them. I always wanted to play the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were more designed, I think, also to allow multiplayer.
Yeah, they're co-op and stuff.
Yeah.
They're gonna. All the reason I bring it up is because if you guys don't own them, you should pick them up at some point. Because I wouldn't mind doing them.
Yeah.
As minis, because they interest me. So
we will see.
So yeah, I guess I should intro what we're talking about next week. Next week, you can hear on the show Dragon Ball Z Boo's Fury. We are finally finished. We're finally covering the game, the sequel to Legacy of Goku 2 that we did back in like episode 50 something.
And I won't be on that one.
I will also not. That was a foreign language as far as I'm concerned. Those certainly were words, I think.
Dragon Ball Z. I like it.
Sure.
So, yeah. So that's what you hear about next week. And I guess we should just go to plugs. And Richard, where can people find you at?
You can always find me at my YouTube channel, which is Rich Kale, where I'm playing through various games and franchises. I mean, I'm still working through the Tomb Raider 1, 2, 3 remaster. I won't have it done by the time the 4, 5, 6 remaster comes out.
We got time.
Yeah, but I'm also working like the Tomb Raider games. I've been working through them on my channel as well. Currently working on Underworld. In fact, when this episode premieres, we have gotten at least past the Kraken, or I've gotten the Kraken. That's a fun little thing.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to Underworld. I really am, because that one I have no experience with. So
that one's going to be fun.
Yeah. And of course, I have Fix Up all over the place. So
yeah.
Comic Vine, fanfiction.net, archive of our own.
Cody, where can people find you at?
Oh, yeah. You can find me on farmersonly.com. I have a profile. I'm currently trying to find a goth girl. No, actually, you can find me on a TikTok. If you're on that app, you probably seen me on there. Statistically speaking, people on have seen me on there traveling around Europe more than likely. Went to 13 countries in 2024. Got the Redneck Abroad series. That thing is kicking off. It's doing incredibly well. Having so much fun with it. Last year was the U.S., England, Ireland, France, Belgium, Netherlands, Denmark, Sweden, Italy, Austria, Where else did I go? Germany, and the Czech Republic and Spain, and then I came back home. I'm chronicling all of that, editing video, putting a ton of stuff up there. You can also find me on YouTube. You just got to search for my name, Cody Laveau, the former guy that had my name. I think he crawled into a hole and died somewhere of shame because that guy's a Nazi and he can go fuck himself. I offered
to run for office.
I'm telling you, I told you that guy. I should run for office at some point.
The Nazi guy. Apparently, that's the thing we like in America. Apparently, huh?
Oh yeah, no, clearly it was a Roman salute, allegedly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, as I've said, as many as other. If you want to do the real Roman thing, kiss your bros. I'm just saying, you should do it. If you're gonna do the whatever, the arm gesture that I'm not gonna do, you should also be kissing your bros. Otherwise, sit down. But yeah, that guy, the other guy that had to change his name, I did offer to fight him on this show, and then he immediately changed your name. Or he changed his name. Your podcast, Mike, changes lives. It literally caused a Nazi to have to change his name. That was like a week after that show came out.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
That was really funny. Happens. He wouldn't do it. So I'm very, very proud of that. And now my SEO is way bigger than his will ever be, and couldn't be more proud of that. So just search my name into Google. You'll find me in all kinds of places.
Oh, and you still can't download TikTok on the App Store. I just checked.
Not yet. You cannot download the app yet. So YouTube is your best place to find me. I'm posting all of my old videos on there, as well as new videos and the Redneck Abroad series. I have a new long-form series where I go all throughout the city of London, go to different places, go to London Zoo with a burlesque model, and I ride the River Thames and get in an arm wrestling match with a gym rat. It's really, really fun. I have a ton of cool stories. Ireland's going to be after this. You don't want to miss it. Subscribe to me on everywhere that you can subscribe to me.
All right.
Catching my breath.
And if you want to support the show, we do have Patreon. Little's dog vote in our Patreon polls. We have 1 to 2 polls a month. Currently 2 polls. So definitely go check out what we do. You get to affect the show. You get to support the show. It makes me smile. If you want to be a part of the show, if you want to chat with us, if you want to just lurk, join the Discord. It's free. There's a link in the show notes of every episode. Just join. That's how you can suggest things. You can chat with us. You can be on the show. And simple. All you need is a microphone. You don't AirPods even work too. But that's how you get my attention, and that's how you get on the show. So I'm always asking for people. So.
Sweet.
And want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro courtesy of Elena at Hell Has Free. You can follow her on TikTok and Instagram. Definitely go check her out. And give a shout out to Bill Tucker, the Gamer Looks at 40. You can definitely go check out his podcast. He's still talking Final Fantasy. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, YouTube, audio only, rate and reviews where we get your podcast. I think that's everything I need to say, so we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Remember what I always say, Mike. Bye. Take it easy, and if it's easy,
take her twice.
My God. I am too honky for this talkie, Mike. I'm out. I am off like a prom dress.